in packing up all my stuff in this apartment, I wasn't sure of when to start packing stuff and when not to, because one of my greatest fears was taking down all my photos, all my art, all the stuff that made this place so special to me. And in doing it, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. But in doing it, it was so magical because once I got everything off the walls and stuff, I realized the vibe of this apartment hadn't changed. It really showed me that I carry this vibe and it spreads out in the environment that I'm in, which was so cool. And then the coolest thing happened too, which I didn't expect this to happen, was in taking down like all the artwork, all the pictures, and all the stuff that really gave this apartment its aesthetics. It gave me this time to reflect. And seeing this apartment empty reminded me of the person that I was when I came in here. And it took me forever to move in here because I was burnt out. I was exhausted. I've been hustling. It was the first time I made real money as a freelance videographer, photographer, marketer, editor, whatever you want to call me, creative entrepreneur. And it was the first time that I really made money, the first time I had money in my bank account saved up. And this was a big leap. Like, this is like $600 more a month than my other apartment. And I strategically got this apartment to push myself, to motivate myself in a positive way monetarily. And in taking down all this stuff, I reflected on it and I realized how much I have grown in this apartment. And I think, as much as I hate moving, that is probably one of the coolest feelings in the world, is to reflect on who you were when you started living in a space, who you transformed to, and who you became living in this space. Because it's the coolest feeling. And I'm able to look at myself, and I went from like this freelance creative who was trying to understand who he was and what he was doing and find his market fit, to following my passions, traveling, becoming a travel, freelance creative, becoming a marketer in here, becoming a face of a brand, building my brand. Like, my dreams from when I got into freelance, this is it. It was to have this dope apartment. It was to work with some big brands, which I've nailed two this year, like two huge brands, two huge sports brands. It's to travel. It was to creatively express myself. And looking back, that is everything this apartment and this space helped me create and transform to. And that's something that I'm most grateful for. And in saying that too, and it wasn't beautiful, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't pretty. Like, these were probably the hardest, what have I been here, 2 years of my freaking life, because I moved in here and was like, I'm unstoppable, let's go. And then the universe had a different plan and was showing me how out of alignment I was and why I kept burning out, why this wasn't working. Stop doing it all yourself. Start hiring people, delegate, focus on what you're really good at and double down in that, which this is what I'm good at: talking to camera, marketing, outreach, closing, sales, like all that stuff makes me so happy. And that is what I learned here. And it wasn't, once again, it wasn't through ease, it was through a lot of discomfort. There was that first 3 months in here, and then my market pretty much closed, and I was like, what are we gonna do? We have an expensive apartment. We're burning about 5 grand a month. And slow season appeared, and recessions and all these things, and it squeezed me in the best way to really lean into what I was good at and let go of the stuff that I didn't want to do anymore, because I was doing it out of scarcity. And this apartment as a whole taught me all about the scarcity wounds and conditioning that I had from my upbringing, that realistically, consciously I don't have, but subconsciously are wired in me. And there was so much financial hardship here. But on the flip of that, there was so much financial gain here. And I think that's something people don't realize, is like, a lot of people who are financially wealthy and work their way up from the bottom to the top, they do make it and they are successful, and you see them when they get there. But the process and the journey of getting there is so hard. I think it's a similar theme of mine, of like having the money, buying a space, realizing that, oh crap, like your market's not going to hold. Now you got to pivot. Now you got to learn new skills. Now you got to grow very, very quickly in this pressure in order to sustain this, because there were multiple times where I thought I was going to lose this. And that was so hard on me. And I realized how attached I was to this apartment. So, I learned how to detach from it. And then I realized, like, at the end of the day, this place, as much as it helped me grow, was holding me back. And it was holding me back in weird ways of, like, in Bali last year, I was there for a month, and Costa in Bali, gone for a month. I still had my bills. This place cost me 2 grand a month. my car, like all these bills stacking up. And I was like, yes, I can travel and have the freedom to work remotely, but I still have to pay for this stuff. And like 2 grand in Bali is a lot of money. And you think about that, and then it really showed me how much I was spending on this space, but how much it was keeping me from traveling and working remote and growing my brand and stuff. Because and and that's the weirdest thing, is like, why did I do it? And it's because I subconsciously knew I was going to be busting my butt here. I knew it. Like when I got this apartment, I wanted a comfortable place. I wanted something bigger that I could relax in when I wasn't working, and I could also work in. This is my first apartment with an office. Otherwise, it had been the same layout with my desk in between the couch and the kitchen without that over there. And it was such a move, because coming here, I had an office, I had a spot that I could sit down and work. I could turn it on and I could shut it off. And it was so beautiful. And there's just so many good moments here that helped me grow as a person and as a creative, and taught me financial abundance. It taught me how to work smarter, not harder. It taught me how, yes, you can work as hard as you want, but on the inside, if you don't believe it, people aren't going to believe it on the outside. And all these lessons came here. But it was essentially, I landed here because I subconsciously knew I'd be busting my butt. I would need some place that would be comfortable. And with all the traveling I did, this spot was so comfortable to come back to. The energy here is amazing that I've created from who I became and what I endured, and transmuting that and integrating it. I'd say I have the most security within myself I've ever had. I had the most confidence. I have the most self-worth. And in saying that, you're like, that must be nice. And I'll tell you what, the path there is not nice, but the feeling of going through the transformation is so nice. It's the best feeling in the world. And it's literally been the most reflective process from, maybe getting a little bit ahead of moving, but I don't think I am, because I'm so instinctive and intuitive when things happen and I feel that feeling, I know to act. And then recently I've also learned, when that feeling's not there, we don't act. We rest, we relax, we have fun, we recharge, so that when we get that little burst, we just go, and we conquer it, and we have fun with it, and we help create abundance with everybody we create with. And yeah, man, this is bittersweet, but I'm so excited for what's coming up with the jobs. These jobs are going to be awesome as portfolio pieces. I'm excited for the move. I'm excited to get out of Kansas City and start the new chapter in Austin. And I don't even know how long we're going to be in Austin or what's going to happen, but I feel like it's going to be a fun end to the year. So we're just holding the vision of that. We're going to be curious. We're going to let the universe show up exactly how it wants to. And when we get that little urge, we're going to intercept, co-create with it, and then throw it back in its hands, because I think that's the art of woo-wee. My favorite word: let go, let the energy flow. And when you feel the need to, intercept it or apply action to it, and then disconnect and let it carry out the rest for you. That's a good ending. Peace out, y'all.